Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking through a couple player props I like on Prizepicks for today's MLB slate on Wednesday, June the 19th. We've got a 15-game MLB slate tonight, so it's a full slate of games. It is a split slate today, so we do have a handful of early games, and then we have a handful of games later in the night. I am actually making this video the night before. I'm recording this video on Tuesday night. I typically don't make my MLB videos the night before, just because there's usually not a ton of props up the night before, but we actually do have some props up already. I was going to go ahead and make my video. Plus, I'm going to be gone all day Wednesday. Wasn't going to be able to make a video during the day. Figured I'd try and get one up the night before if there were going to be props available. And we do have a decent amount of stuff up that I like. So I've got 3 early props that I do like for Wednesday's MLB slate. As always, we're going to talk through these 3 plays. We're going to share why I like them. Now, before we do get started, guys, make sure you hit that like button down below if you do enjoy these Prizepicks videos. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to Prizepicks, and if you don't have an account on Prizepicks, you can sign up and use that promo code NOAH. When you do sign up for Prizepicks, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. And also, if you guys have never heard of Sleeper, we do have a partnership with Sleeper as well. You can check out Sleeper, linked down below in the description, or just use that promo code NOAH when you sign up for Sleeper to get your first deposit matched up to $100. And if you don't know what Sleeper is, they're a DFS pick'em app similar to Prizepicks, where you pick over or under on player projections, you build out your entry. You can make up to an 8-pick entry on Sleeper. You can win up to 100x your money. So if you guys do want to check out Sleeper, make sure to use that promo code NOAH when you sign up to get your first deposit matched up to $100. But let's talk through the props I'm liking for Wednesday, guys. Unfortunately, for our Tuesday plays, we gave out 2 picks on Tuesday. We only hit one of the 2 plays we gave out Tuesday. We did hit Aaron Nola over 30 fantasy score, but Pablo Lopez over 6 strikeouts did not hit, unfortunately. Lopez, he pitched, I want to say he got through about 3 or 4 innings before there was a rain delay. Now, Lopez was not really pitching well. He had given up like 5 runs. He had 3 strikeouts through those 3 or 4 innings he pitched. He had thrown like 50 pitches, so like he probably still would have pitched maybe 1 or 2 more innings, depending on how it would have went. But there was a rain delay. He got his start cut short because of the rain delay. I talked about that in yesterday's video too. Like, I knew there was rain in the area in Minnesota, but reading the reports, it looked like the rain was going to happen, at the time of the game, like at the start of the game, and that it was probably going to be a scenario where they were going to delay the start of the game and then play the game later in the night with no issue. But they actually wound up playing the game at its original start time, and they played for like 3 innings, and then the rain came in, during the game. So that's kind of, I'll take the blame for that one. I probably shouldn't have took that Lopez prop knowing that there was even, weather in the area. But reading reports, it looked like the rain was going to happen at the start of the game, and they were going to have to push the start of the game back, which would have allowed Lopez to pitch a normal game, but that didn't happen. So what can you do, man? I mean, Lopez wasn't really pitching well anyway, had another rough start, but we'll move on to Wednesday, guys. I've got 3 early props I do like for Wednesday's slate. Let's talk through these props and why I like them. So first prop I like is going to be from one of the early games, and I'm looking at a strikeout prop here. Hunter Green, 6 strikeouts. I like the over here, more than 6 strikeouts for Hunter Green. And let's talk through this prop and why I like this one on Green. So if you look at Green's recent games, it doesn't mean much, but for what it's worth, he was over in 2 out of 5. Green has had at least 5 strikeouts in every single start of the season. So when he's gone under this line, it's only been by 1 strikeout. He's had 5 starts this season where he's finished with exactly 5 strikeouts. And then every other start, he's had 6 strikeouts or more. But if you look at his matchups lately, and if you look at the starts where he's gone under this line, one of the starts was against Milwaukee. Milwaukee's been about a middle-of-the-pack team in terms of K rate, but Milwaukee's a really good offense. They've been one of the best teams in the league against right-handed pitching. Then he had to face the Cubs, another kind of slightly league average to maybe slightly above average strikeout team, but not an elite strikeout matchup by any means. And then he had to face the Dodgers. Like, Green has kind of had a tough stretch lately, and if you look at the games this season where he's gone under this line, where he's had 5 strikeouts, he had to face Milwaukee, Chicago, Dodgers, Arizona, Baltimore. Like, those are not the easiest matchups. Those are not easy strikeout matchups either. This is definitely a much better matchup for Hunter Green facing the Pirates. The Pirates have been a pretty high strikeout team all season, both against right-handed pitching and left-handed pitching. And so far this season against right-handed pitching, the Pirates do have a 24.9% K rate, which is 5th highest in the league. And then if you look at like a recent sample over the last 30 days, they're still striking out at a 25.2% clip 4th highest in the league. So not only have the Pirates been striking out a lot this season, but they've been striking out a lot even like in a recent sample, even looking at the last 30 days. And for what it's worth, I don't really look at player versus team stats too much for MLB, but I think it can kind of it means a little something, I think, for pitchers. Obviously, like for hitters, it doesn't really matter because for hitters, it's all about the pitcher they're facing for that day. But for pitchers facing a team, I think it matters somewhat, I guess, just a little bit on how they've done against that team in the past. And Hunter Greene has pitched well against the Pirates in the past. He's made 4 starts against Pittsburgh. He has had at least 6 strikeouts in all 4 of those starts. 9 Ks, 10 Ks, 8 Ks, and then 6 Ks. So when he's faced this Pirates team, he's been able to rack up Ks. This is a Pirates team that has struck out a lot this season, 5th highest in the league versus right-handed pitching. And Hunter Greene's a good strikeout pitcher. His first 2 seasons in the league, he had a K rate over 30%. Now, this season, his strikeout rate is a little bit down. It's down to 25.8%, but this is still a pitcher that has really good stuff. He throws really hard. He throws like 100-mile-per-hour fastballs. He's a power pitcher, and this Pirates team, they'll definitely strike out against guys like Hunter Greene who throw hard, who have a lot of velocity. And Hunter Greene, although he's not getting a ton of chases, like he's not getting, he's had like a league average chase rate so far this season. He's still getting a lot of swings and misses. His whiff percentage is 80th percentile, so that's something we like to see. And I think, one of the reasons maybe his K rate is a little bit down this season could just be due to some of the matchups he's had, especially as of late. I mean, he's had not the easiest matchups against the Dodgers, the Brewers, the Cubs. I mean, those are not like cupcake matchups. This is definitely one of the better matchups Greene has had this season. So I do like this matchup a lot for Greene. I like getting this line at 6. I think that gives us some push equity here. Even if Greene finishes with 6 strikeouts, it's still not a loss. If our other 2 plays hit, we would still get a 3x payout. But I definitely like this play at 6. Just looking at Greene's schedule this season, and especially as of late, he's had some tough starts, some tough matchups. Like this is a kind of a bounce back spot for him against a Pirates lineup that he's pitched well against previously, and a Pirates lineup that will strike out. So that's the first prop I like for tonight is Hunter Greene, more than 6 strikeouts. And then the other 2 props that I like are hitter fantasy scores. Now, I'm not someone that takes hitter fantasy score props a lot. I'll typically, I'll take one if I see a spot that I like, but I think for hitter props, probably the best thing you can do with hitter props is stack. And I know Prizepicks has they've kind of adjusted, payouts for stacking. Like if you do take a lot of hitters, or if you take hitters and then take a prop on the opposing pitcher, like you're going to get a lower payout for that because there's a lot of correlation there. But it does make sense to do like correlated stacks when you're taking hitter props. But I found 2 individual hitter props that I like for today. And again, I won't take hitter props often, but when I do find hitter props I like, usually, there's going to be reasoning behind it. So the first hitter prop that I do like for today is Christian Walker, and I like him for more than 8 hitter fantasy score. Now, this line was actually at 7.5, literally before I started recording this video, and by the time I could even start recording, get a thumbnail made, the line had already bumped up to 8. But even at 8, I still like the over here on Christian Walker. And let's talk through this prop on Christian Walker and why I like this one. Now, for those of you that are maybe new to Prizepicks, or if you've never taken a hitter fantasy score prop, if you just click scoring chart right here, you can actually see how hitter fantasy score is calculated. For a single, a batter gets 3 points. For a double, 5 points. Triple, 8 points. Home run, 10 points. And then for every run, 2 points. RBI, 2 points. Walk, 2 points. If they get hit by a pitch, that's 2 points. And then if they steal a base, that's 5 points. So obviously, batters have a lot of ways they can get points, whether it be hits, RBIs, runs, walks, or stolen bases. But Christian Walker, I like this matchup a lot for him against Patrick Corbin. I think this is a really good spot overall for the Diamondbacks. And we talked about how with stacking, you can take hitters from the same team, you can take their overs, and if it's a scenario where the pitcher they're facing really struggles, if he's giving up a lot of hits, giving up a lot of runs, well, you can have scenarios where a lot of overs hit for that team. So I don't even mind stacking here and also taking Ketel Marte over 8.5 fantasy score. I'm not going to give that out as an official play for today, but if you want to do that, I think that is something you can do as well. Typically, Prizepicks does lower the payouts for that, but it looks like if you do a 3-pick power, you would still get a 5x payout. So I think that's something you could take too. Ketel Marte, always been really good against left-handed pitching. And Christian Walker as well, always been really good against left-handed pitching. And they're going to face Patrick Corbin today, who might be the worst left-handed pitcher in the league, starting pitcher. I mean, Patrick Corbin has been terrible this season. He was terrible last season. He's just been, he has his expected ERA the last 3 seasons has been over 6. The dude has over a 6 expected ERA all of his last 3 seasons. He has a 5.84 ERA this season, and his expected ERA is even worse than that, 6.85. He has a very low strikeout rate, 14%, so you're going to see a lot of balls put in play for this Diamondbacks team, and I mean, all of Patrick Corbin's stats are bad. Like, his expected WOBA is near 400, his expected slugging is 542, expected batting average 328. Like, he has been one of the worst starting pitchers in the league this season. Honestly, it's still surprising to see him even in the majors as poorly as he has pitched. So I like this spot a lot for the Diamondbacks. I think it's a spot where they should be able to put up some runs. And their batters have hit Patrick Corbin well. So Christian Walker is 4 for 8 off Patrick Corbin lifetime. Ketel Marte's 5 for 9 with 3 extra base hits and 2 home runs. So he has hit Patrick Corbin very well. And Corbin, if you look at what he throws, he's mainly a sinker slider pitcher. He throws his sinker about 36% of the time. He throws his slider about 30% of the time. And those are pitches that, you know, Christian Walker has hit pretty well, especially sinkers. If you look at Christian Walker's stats this season against sinkers, 390 WOBA versus sinkers this season, 489 slugging. Last season versus sinkers, Christian Walker 385 WOBA, 459 slugging. Versus sliders, he has struggled a little bit more with sliders this season. Christian Walker has only a 241 WOBA, but last season he did hit sliders pretty well. 326 WOBA, 490 slugging. But he's got good numbers lifetime off Patrick Corbin. He's hit him well in the past. And Christian Walker has also historically hit left-handed pitching well. Now this season his numbers against left-handed pitching aren't as good, but last season he did hit left-handed pitching pretty well. Had a 141 WRC plus versus lefties. So a lot of boxes are checked here for for Christian Walker, for this Diamondbacks team. I haven't been able to look at totals yet, but I would assume the Diamondbacks are going to have a pretty high team total, probably over 5 runs. The weather lately, we're starting to get to that summer weather, so you're starting to see it's hotter temperatures now. When it's hotter, the balls are going to fly. You're going to see more runs being scored during the summer when it's hotter and just the balls are going to carry more, especially when you have days where like winds are blowing out. Don't know what the weather's going to be like in Washington tomorrow, but I would assume with it being summertime, it's probably going to be pretty warm. And I think you're going to see some runs scored here for this Diamondbacks team, and especially Christian Walker. I do like to spot a lot for him against a left-handed pitcher that he's had success against in the past and a left-handed pitcher that has really struggled this season. So that's our second prop for tonight. And then the third and final prop, I like another hitter fantasy score. We're going to take Pete Alonso for more than 6.5 hitter fantasy score. And let's talk through this prop on Pete Alonso, why I like this one. So Pete Alonso been hitting the ball well lately. He's been hitting the ball well in this series against Texas. First game in this series had 17 fantasy score. Last game, or today's game on Tuesday, he had 14 fantasy score. Pete Alonso has historically been another guy that hits left-handed pitching well. Now his splits this season versus left-handed pitching have not been as good, but he will have the platoon advantage here, facing a lefty, facing Andrew Heaney. And Andrew Heaney, by no means is he like a gas can or a bad pitcher, but he's definitely not a pitcher to be afraid of. I mean, Heaney this season, 4.50 expected ERA, only a 21% strikeout rate. Does give up some hard contact, does give up an average exit velocity of 91.1%, which, that does rank bottom 7% in the league. Heaney's just not, he used to have really good strikeout stuff. Like, he had a 35% K rate back in 2022, but Heaney just not the same pitcher that he really used to be. He's a pitcher you can definitely hit, and Alonso has been raking the ball lately, been hitting the ball really well. And again, he's historically hit left-handed pitching well too. I think this is another good spot for the Mets. I mean, the Mets have been, as a team, they've been one of the hottest offenses in the league lately. They've been hitting left-handed pitching very well. They've been scoring a ton of runs. I like that trend to continue tonight here against Heaney. You look at what Heaney throws, you look at how he matches up with Pete Alonso. Heaney relies heavily on his fastball. He throws his fastball 54% of the time, and Pete Alonso has historically been great against fastballs. This season, 264 batting average, 639 slugging, 422 WOBA versus fastballs. Last season, really good stats versus fastballs, 539 slugging, 364 WOBA. He's had a positive run value, according to Baseball Savant. Pete Alonso has had a positive run value versus fastballs pretty much every season of his career. And this season, his run value is set at 10. That's the highest of any pitch. So of all the pitches Pete Alonso has seen this season, fastballs have been the pitch that he has hit the best. And that's what Andrew Heaney really relies on. Heaney throws his fastball 54% of the time. So I think it's a pretty good spot for Pete Alonso. I think it's a spot where the Mets can continue to put up some runs. It does suck that Texas does play in a ballpark now with a dome. So Texas historically used to be a really, really good hitter's park, especially during the summer when it was really hot there in Texas. The ball would just fly. But now that they have a dome, their ballpark doesn't play as hitter friendly. But I still think you're going to see, probably a 4.5, close to a 5 team total for the Mets here. And some of their right-handed bats I do like today. Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso specifically. JD Martinez has been hitting the ball really well for the Mets. But I like this spot a lot for Alonso. I was surprised to see his line at 6.5. I was thinking it was probably going to be at 7.5, especially facing a left-handed pitcher. At 6.5, I do like this over for Pete Alonso. Wouldn't be surprised if you see this line bump today. I think this probably could go up to 7, maybe even 7.5. So at 6.5, definitely like the over on this hitter fantasy score for Pete Alonso. So these are 3 early props, guys. I do like for Wednesday's MLB slate. Again, I'm recording this video the night before. I'm recording this on Tuesday night. I typically don't make my MLB videos the night before just because there's usually not a lot of props up, but I'm going to be gone all day Wednesday. Wasn't going to be able to make a video during the day, so I was going to try and get one out the night before and give you guys some early props I liked for this slate. As always, if you're tailing, wish you the best of luck. Let's try and hit all 3 of these plays tonight, make some money. You guys can play these as a 3-pick entry. I typically don't really ever play 3-pick entries on Prizepicks because the payout on those is not great. So I would recommend if you want to play these, you can mix and match them into 2-pick entries, or you could take these 3 picks, add them to a couple picks that you like, and do like a 5-pick or 6-pick entry. That makes the most sense because those are all for the best payouts overall for the price you're getting each prop at. 5-pick and 6-pick entries mathematically are the best entry types to play on Prizepicks. So if you want to add a couple picks you like to these, feel free to do that. But either way, let's try and hit all 3 of these plays for Wednesday. Make some money tonight. Appreciate you guys watching as always. Hit that like button down below if you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And again, if you guys are new to Prizepicks, if you don't have an account on Prizepicks, use that promo code NOAH when you sign up to get your first deposit matched up to $100. But good luck tonight, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.